Finally, Bush and Gore agree to 4 debates tonight. Details on where and when. Firestorm, a new call for criminal charges against Ford and Firestone in the place where some say this crisis began. In depth, the world comes to Sydney for the Olympics. Tonight, the American vowing to become the fastest woman on Earth. And home of the brave, an American hero gives his life to save a fellow soldier. Tonight, his widow returns to Normandy to meet the man who survived.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. Substituting tonight, Brian Williams.
Good evening. They have agreed to disagree, and they're going to do it 4 times. The Bush and Gore campaigns have cut a deal for a series of debates. After weeks of arguments and counter-arguments and false starts, it turns out both campaigns are going to accept, after all, the debates that were suggested by that commission set up to do just that. We get details tonight from NBC News correspondent David Gregory, who is traveling with the Bush campaign in Pomona, California. David, good evening to you.
Good evening to you, Brian. The question tonight, why the turnaround? Well, senior Bush advisors say the debate had become a huge distraction. And with his campaign sorely in need of a boost, it was time for Governor Bush to send a clear message that indeed he does want to go toe-to-toe with Al Gore.
Meeting in Washington today, officials from both campaigns agreed to 4 debates to be sponsored by the Presidential Debate Commission. The first, October 3rd, at the University of Massachusetts in Boston. The second, October 5th, a vice presidential face-off at Center College in Danville, Kentucky. The third, October 11th, a presidential debate at Wake Forest University in North Carolina. And the final session, October 17th, at Washington University in St. Louis. Each debate runs 90 minutes, but still to be decided, the format, including sources say the staging and use of podiums. That's paramount to Governor Bush. He's criticized past commission debates as too restrictive, too prone to one-liners.
The governor is very eager to debate. He's looking forward to a free-flowing, substantive, real, and genuine discussion of all the issues.
This is good because the American people want to hear from these people in formal settings.
Tonight's breakthrough, despite the still unsolved mystery of how secret debate preparation material, including a videotape that shows Governor Bush in a mock debate, fell into the hands of a top aide to Al Gore. The FBI is investigating tonight, and Bush officials said late today that they have no idea how or even if campaign security was breached. Brian?
David Gregory with the Bush campaign in California tonight for us. Thank you. We learned today this summer of long delays and great discontent for air travelers is about to get worse, and Congress has never been angrier at what is happening to passengers. Here's NBC's Robert Hager.
At the end of the absolute all-time worst summer ever for air travel delays, the Senate demands to know, is there an end in sight? John McCain and others.
We've seen this problem compound and compound and compound.
This has been the most difficult and frustrating time in the 35 years that I've been a regular airline passenger.
But the key government investigator, following aviation for decades, says delays will be even worse in future years. He's Kenneth Mead.
We need to face the facts about what the capacity limits are.
Mead says better traffic control equipment gradually coming online just can't help that much. Says the biggest problem is that airlines are simply scheduling way more flights at peak hours than airports or airlanes can handle.
All these planes in the air, you have to have a place to put them.
And as though on cue, 3 to 4 hour delays flying into San Francisco today, 2-hour delays into New York LaGuardia, hour-long delays at Chicago O'Hare.
And it's always something. Sometimes it's weather, sometimes it's traffic, sometimes it's repairs, but it's constant, whatever it is.
We had 8 individuals coming in. 5 of them could not make it due to the fact that the flights were either canceled or delayed.
And senators heard something frightening, that congestion could also be compromising safety. Controller errors up 23% since 1996. Close calls on runways up 39% this year alone. Airlines are defensive. They say the public's demanding more flights at peak hours, and it's the government's job to figure out a way to handle them. Delta's chief Leo Mullen.
This is America. There's enough room out there for us to run an aviation system that serves the traveling public.
But senators argue the system's reached its limit.
If you go beyond that, you are now in a risk zone. And the more you go beyond that, you're incurring additional risk, additional delays, and additional problems.
And that's precisely the forecast. Worse delays this winter, next summer, and for years to come. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
And a development tonight in what has become the consuming public safety issue on the American road these days, the faulty Firestone tires on Ford Explorers. Of course, it turns out it's not just a problem here. There is one country where they've been demanding answers for months, and now they're taking legal action. NBC's Jim Avila tonight on the firestorm in Venezuela.
It's a stunning sight. Under a green fiberglass roof outside Venezuela's capital, the Explorer Graveyard, a government evidence warehouse packed with Ford SUVs wearing Firestone's wilderness tires, impounded during an official criminal investigation into 47 fatal accidents, including the death of Miguel Petrelli's brother.
I feel very bad because my brother, they don't have to die in this form, okay? In this moment. They have a long life in front of him.
Parked in the government garage, Exhibit A in the death of his brother Ernesto and friend Ivan, killed in an Explorer rollover after what authorities here contend was a tread separation blowout.
Only what I look for is for the... They don't sell more, okay, this car, because it's very dangerous.
A car-crazy South American country. 1 of every 11 Venezuelans owns one, and they like them big, SUVs, because Venezuela is blessed with oil. Gasoline costs only 38 cents a gallon here. One more number. The death rate is higher, too. 47 Venezuelan fatalities linked to tread separation. 88 in the much larger United States. The Venezuelan death rate 6 times higher per capita. A crisis so severe that in a country where few fight for consumer rights, the government is moving against 2 huge corporations.
We know who we are fighting. We also know that these companies will use great resources and apply a great deal of pressure.
Firestone has issued a recall of 62,000 tires here, but insists it's for customer relations and not linked to any proven safety problems. And both companies say they disagree with Venezuela's consumer investigation, findings, and methods. Firestone says Venezuela's tire problems have to do with tropical heat, fast driving, and poor roads. Samuel Rue heads the government's Consumer Protection Unit. 30 investigators have put together a report accusing both Firestone and Ford of not just civil corporate greed, but actual crime.
If they had informed Ford Explorer owners when they detected the problem in 1998, many lives could have been saved. So we think it's criminal negligence on their part.
Serious enough that the National Congress today announced a separate investigation as Venezuelans contend 2 well-known American brands did nothing to stop the dying. Jim Avila, NBC News, Caracas.
Still ahead as we continue from New York this Thursday night, a plea for help. Michael J. Fox tells Congress that money now for controversial research could be the answer for him and others suffering from Parkinson's disease.
I can't help but say respectfully, enough. It's time to act on what we've learned. Sadly, we've already lost 2 years' progress toward a cure. Further delay would come at a high price.
The public face of a debilitating disease. And NBC News in depth. She could be the fastest woman on earth, America's best hope at the Olympic Games.
Marian Jones.
NBC News in depth tonight. The 2000 Olympics in Sydney, Australia, just hours from getting underway. First, a time check here. It is already tomorrow in Sydney, which is 15 hours ahead of Eastern Daylight Time. So it's Friday. As always, the Olympics are a global event and an enormous undertaking. There are more than 10,000 athletes from almost 200 countries taking part in the Games. They will compete in 300 different events at 38 different venues. Is Sydney ready? We begin our in-depth reporting tonight with NBC's Kelly O'Donnell with us now from Australia. Kelly, good evening to you.
That's right, Brian. Already Friday morning here, and the countdown is on just hours to go before the opening ceremony here at the Olympic Stadium. Until now, Sydney has been a city in training. 7 years of preparation, $3 billion invested to stage the world's largest event. A victory lap for the Flame. After a 40,000-mile run across Australia, the Olympic torch comes home to Sydney. But not every Olympic journey running quite so smoothly. A cheery good day, but Olympic transportation struggling. Athletes' buses running late. U.S. water polo and boxing teams stranded, missing practice.
We've had bus drivers get lost. We've had athletes standing on street corners.
Another Olympic misstep, crowd expectations. Early predictions falling short. Best case now, 110,000 international visitors.
There had been a whole lot of talk about boom economies for 2 weeks, hotels packed out, airports crowded, and clearly, while it's going to be busy, that's not going to be the case.
Still, luxury hotels sold out. Cruise ships taking the overflow. The vacancies, 2,000 mostly budget rooms in the area. At Sydney Airport, record traffic. 15,000 arrivals a day. Among them, Chelsea Clinton, here on her own. Her first solo appearance representing the first family abroad. No party for ticket buyers. Hours of waiting. More than 5.25 million sold, better than 80% of available seats, nearing an Olympic record. Australian Carla Gagler buying tickets for several events. The cost, $1,500, catching her by surprise.
Oh no, it's more than I wanted to spend.
This is dress rehearsal for the big night. 3 billion expected to watch the real show on TV as Sydney plays host to the world. At the opening ceremony, the flag bearer chosen for the U.S. team, Cliff Meidel. He's a sprint kayaker from Southern California. Meidel entered his sport after a near-fatal construction accident, jolted by high-voltage lines. He could barely walk, he barely lived, and now he leads the U.S. delegation of 600 athletes. Brian?
Kelly O'Donnell in Sydney for us tonight. Thanks. If you're not up to speed on the Olympics yet, there is a woman of great speed whose story we have for you here tonight. If you follow only one athlete during all of the games, she just might be the one. Tonight, NBC News correspondent Ann Thompson continues our in-depth reporting with a woman to watch, Marian Jones.
Her Olympic dream, audacious, trying to win not one gold medal or even 2 or 3, but 5. Marian Jones believes she can do what no sprinter, man or woman, has ever done.
Mostly when I'm in a race, I don't really hear the crowd or anything, and I don't hear, it's just everything in my lane to that finish line. It goes by like that. It's like a blink of an eye.
Over 9 days, she'll compete in the 100 meters, 200 meters, 2 relays, and the long jump, keeping a promise she made at 8 years old after watching the '84 Olympics.
I went to my room and closed the door and wrote on my chalkboard that I wanted to be an Olympic champion.
Raised in suburban Los Angeles by her mother, Jones was ballerina and baseball player, often the only girl on her team, competing against the boys.
Even at that young age, my mom said, you need to go with what you know and what you believe. And I think I've carried that throughout my whole life and even now.
She's always defied expectations. A high school track star, Jones played basketball at the University of North Carolina, led her team to a national championship, but quit after 3 seasons, stunning her coach.
She said to me, she said, Coach Hatchell, she said, I want to go out and be the fastest woman in the world. And within 2 months, she had done that.
A world champion now poised to become the star of Sydney. Already the face of the games on magazine covers and the mouth of a hit series of TV commercials.
All right, suckers, ears up, minds open. Mrs. Jones is transmitting.
Pushing equal pay, education, and nonviolence.
We need more role models. The more, the better. Can you dig it?
In real life, Mrs. Jones is Mrs. Hunter, married to fellow Olympian C.J. Hunter, a shot putter forced to withdraw this week because of a knee injury. Once hoping to come home a gold medal couple, their efforts now focus on her.
Marian is doing what she's doing now for women's sport, and the image that she projects is tremendous, and the role model she is for young children.
A role model for girls and boys. At 24, compared not just with women Olympians, but the most celebrated men, Jesse Owens, Carl Lewis, and that other MJ from North Carolina, Michael Jordan.
Are you the best athlete in the world? Oh, I don't know if I could say that, but I definitely am. I'm one of the best. I'll keep it at that. I'm really good at what I do. I don't know if I can go out there and beat Tiger, but I don't know if he can come out here and beat me on the track either.
Marian Jones now sprinting toward her own chapter in sports history and digging it. Ann Thompson, NBC News, New York.
We're back with our Lifeline report tonight right after this. A very public disagreement tonight at the highest levels of the Clinton administration over the case of Wen-Ho Lee, the former Los Alamos scientist who was held for over 9 months in solitary confinement on 59 charges of mishandling nuclear weapons data. In an agreement with federal prosecutors, Lee pleaded guilty to 1 charge and was set free. Today, Attorney General Janet Reno and President Clinton offered very different views of the government's handling of Lee's case.
I think Dr. Lee had the opportunity from the beginning to resolve this matter, and he chose not to, and I think he must look to himself.
I don't think that you can justify, in retrospect, keeping a person in jail without bail when you're prepared to make that kind of agreement. It just can't be justified, and I don't believe it can be, and so I, too, am quite troubled by it.
The president today in Washington. Our Lifeline report tonight comes from Capitol Hill, a very personal plea for help to cure diseases that affect millions of Americans and their families, diabetes, for example, and Parkinson's. On the Hill, the actor Michael J. Fox, who suffers from Parkinson's, pleaded for more money for a controversial form of research using stem cells from embryos. Here he is in his own words.
So what does qualify me to be at this table? The answer is simple. I'm one of a million involuntary experts on Parkinson's disease in the United States, battling its destructive nature as we wait for a cure. We need a rescue, and the country should know it. For 2 years, you've had a parade of witnesses, scientists, ethicists, theologians of every school, and some celebrities, discussing every nuance of stem cell research. You've given time to all sides of the issue, including the few but very vocal opponents. But the consistent and inescapable conclusion is that this research offers a potential to eliminate diseases, literally save millions of lives. So while I applaud your thoroughness, I can't help but say respectfully, enough. It's time to act on what we've learned. Sadly, we've already lost 2 years' progress toward a cure. Further delay would come at a high price. The first scientists to receive federal funding won't begin working until late next year, which all means that we are still years away from our rescue. Please help us to not wait any longer than we have to. I see in these cells a chance for a medical miracle. The government has done its work. We ask you now to release our tax dollars so the scientists can do theirs. I thank you.
Michael J. Fox in his own words tonight. Another mixed day on Wall Street. Blue chips way down almost 95 points. Tech stocks, however, on the NASDAQ ended the day up by almost 20. We're back with more right after this. Finally, tonight's Home of the Brave report about a woman's trip back to Normandy to answer battlefield questions that are 50 years old. Here's NBC's Ron Allen.
You're very special. On her first visit to Normandy, Paula Guidry, now 76, finally sees where her first husband gave his life. Sergeant John Ray, a paratrooper with the 82nd Airborne Division, never returned home to his new bride in 1944.
It was just heartbreaking. But I think there was a little bit of anger because he had said he would come back. And he didn't.
For more than half a century, Guidry never knew the details of her husband's final moments until she met this man, Ken Russell, now helping her retrace those last steps. Russell parachuted with Guidry's husband into Normandy the night of June 6, 1944. 12,000 U.S. soldiers leading the D-Day invasion to drive Hitler from Europe.
I said to myself, oh my God, they're jumping us into hell.
Heavy fire from below, the Americans falling into chaos. Russell crashes onto the roof of a church. His chute tangles around a steeple. Sergeant Ray then lands here near the church. A Nazi soldier comes around the corner and shoots Ray in the stomach. The soldier then turns away to kill Russell, still trapped by his parachute. But before he dies, on the ground, Ray takes out a pistol and shoots the German soldier in the back of the head.
He saved your life.
Well, yes, I'm sure he did.
Today, at that same church, Russell finally got his chance to explain it all to Guidry.
I've seen the actual place.
The details add to the memories held in 333 letters Guidry's husband sent her, the last one dated the day he died. Memories that faded through the decades until she began rereading the letters a few years ago, the start of a journey that led her to Normandy.
I was just able to look at that cross with his name on it and even touch it, and you just know that he was right there.
And now, with a new friend to lean on, learning what happened to the man she loved, for whom she waited so long, but who never came home. Ron Allen, NBC News, Normandy.
That is Nightly News for this Thursday evening. I hope to see you later this evening for the news on MSNBC, on cable at 9, and again on CNBC each evening at 10 o'clock. Tom Brokaw's with you from Sydney tomorrow night. I'm Brian Williams, reporting tonight from New York. Good night, everyone.